Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kayla. Today we are doing a fun, trendy video. I have seen all over the place these trendy applique dad hats, and that's what we're gonna do today. So I totally made this up myself, not made up the idea, but I couldn't find another video on like how to do it or see like what anybody else's process was. So I kind of just made it up on the fly. I have seen a lot of these on Etsy and in some Facebook groups and stuff, and people were wondering how to do it, and I figured, you know what, I'm sure I can figure out a way to do it. So I'm sure there's many more ways to do this other than what I'm going to show you in this video. So I'm just going to show you how I did it. I used just a random piece of fabric that I had. A lot of people use like onesies and stuff. Pieces of like flannel blankets or cotton blankets, onesies. Those are all different things that you can use. And then I'm using Lone Star Leatherette today. And as you can see, I think it turned out great. So I'm going to show you the font that I chose in Lightburn, my cut settings, how I press it, how I press, you know, the middle parts. And fair warning, I am doing this on the Hotronix Fusion IQ360, whatever it's called, hat press. I love this hat press because it is a dual heat platen, so the bottom platen gets hot also. So I'm going to show you my settings for that. I don't know what your settings would be if you're using just a regular hat press that only gets hot on the top. I'm sorry, I have no idea. You'll just have to play around with it and see. But I, you know, spent money on the dual heat platen for a reason. I love it and it turned out great. So I will leave everything that I use in this video linked down below. This is just a regular blue Richardson. It's just an extra hat that I had. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoy this video and let's make this hat. So here we are in Lightburn with a brand new template, and we are simply just going to make a rectangle. So we're going to go over here to the rectangle tool and make a rectangle. I'm going to hit my select arrow, and I'm going to customize the width and the height. The width for this patch is going to be 3.9 and the height is going to be 2.2. I actually had that pretty close. And then I'm going to lock it. And so now what we're going to do, very simple, is we're just going to round our corners so that it's not such a sharp edge. Actually, let me make that black so that you can see. So we don't want a straight 90-degree sharp angle, so we are going to round that out. So I'm going to click on the rectangle. I'm going to go down here to shape properties down on the bottom right. And right here where it says corner radius, you can click your arrow up and you can see like that went way too crazy. If you go the other way, it like inverts it. So we are just going to go to 0.2 and then I'm going to hit tab. And that gave us a very, very nice rounded corner. If you don't want it that much, you can do 0.1 and that gives you just a little rounded corner. You could even do 0.025 and that'll give you, you know, more of a sharp corner, but it's still very rounded at the very edge. So you can play around with it and see like what, you know, what you like and what you prefer. So now we need to type out dad. I knew immediately what font I wanted, and that is Impact. It is a great bold font. I knew I wanted to be able to see the fabric as much as possible. And that's actually already sized really, really well for me. So you can make this as big or as small in the middle as you want. You could go a little bit smaller and then you can like, you know, engrave the kids' names down here, or write like dad established 2025, or, you know, whatever you want. I'm going to do dad just basically as big as I can right here in the middle. I'm going to highlight everything and I'm going to go to this little circle right here, and that's just going to center everything perfectly together. And what I'm going to do is I need to make everything, nothing's engraving, everything is cut. So I just need to make sure in my cuts panel, it's not on fill, it's on line. And I usually change everything to red for a cut line, just mentally, that's what I do. I know red means cut. Usually I have black as engraved. So just for me not messing up my mental self, I'm going to leave this as red. For my cut settings, I almost always do 10, 90, 10 with the air on. I have seen other people in groups say that for like the Lone Star Leatherette, they do 40 and 40. Sometimes they do like a lower power but with 2 passes. I'm going to keep this just for now, but I am going to keep experimenting with it because I am wondering if that's going to give me less cleanup after with like, you know, the soot and stuff that you have to wipe off, which you'll see here in a minute. But I'm just going to leave this here because I know it works. There's just more cleanup on the tail end. So if I go up here to this little computer, it's going to show me exactly what it's going to do. It's going to take about 1.5 minutes to cut out. And yeah, I'm really happy with that. That looks like it's going to give me enough. You also, here's another thing. You also want to make sure you have enough for the fabric to be underneath because the fabric is going to lay like right here. So you want enough of the patch to go outside of the fabric to keep the fabric down. So I'm going to be cutting my fabric smaller than the patch, but enough to be filled in with the letters. So if you're worried about that, you can always make this just a little bit smaller to give yourself more room for the fabric on the outside. But I'm really happy with this. So let's go to the machine, the Thunderbolt, cut it out, and then we will clean up our patch and press it. I'm just using LA Awesome from the dollar store and some paper towels to clean up the soot on all of these leather pieces. It gets very, very messy, but like I was saying, I just need to mess around with my cut settings and I should be able to minimize this. If you guys have certain cut settings that you use for leatherette and stuff that gives you like real minimal, soot and cleanup, please let this still newbie know. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. So the reason I really, really love this hat press and the reason I invested in this hat press is because of the lower heated platen. And that's because when I put the leatherette on here, as you'll see in a second, it kind of like activates the adhesive. So I'm able to put it exactly where I want it and I don't have to worry about it slipping or moving or anything like that. And that's really what helps me get like the middle of the D, the A, and the other D, because it, like I said, it activates it. So I just put the piece of fabric down, lay the patch over it. Luckily, I got this first try. Kind of just press that down with my fingers. And because it's, 320 degrees, it activates really quickly. So I'm just going to line up the center pieces of each of the letters and then put my little piece of silicone over and press. And it's seriously just that easy. And like I said, I don't know what your settings would be if you're doing like a top only platen, and you're obviously going to have to be a lot more careful with the middle of the letters, because they're going to be a lot looser than what I have right here because they're, stuck down for the most part. So yeah, that's, I definitely think this heat press is worth the investment if you don't have one already. It took me a long time to pull the trigger on this, and I am so stinking happy I did. I love this hat press. Okay, here is the hat on my sweet mannequin that my kids have named Fred. But yeah, here it is up close. The only part that I'm not like 100% on is the middle of the A right here. It's like you can see the leather, I don't know, kind of like shifted, I guess, like on top of the like black underpart. So it doesn't look, I don't know, like 100% in that area, but that's just me being like super, super picky. I think this turned out great for just doing it on the fly and not really knowing what I'm doing. So you guys will have to let me know in the comments what you think. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Leave me a comment down below and let me know if you have a different way of doing this, or if you're gonna try it, if you have made one, anything, or just say hi, because I love that too. And I will see you in my next video.